What's your circumstance now? Do you still have filters on your water?
I sure do.
Do you have filters on your shower?
I sure do.
But you will not cook with the water?
From the tap? No.
That's crazy to me. Flint, Michigan was, once upon a time, the most prosperous city in the United States. It was one of the crown jewels of our country, known as the Vehicle City, where General Motors employed over 85,000 of the city's residents and hosted the largest automobile assembly plant in the nation. Then, in 1986, GM laid off thousands of employees and closed several plants in Flint. The move decimated the city's economy and left it with a dwindling population. The effects of that monumental shift still linger and are almost visibly present in the life of Flint residents today. On April 25, 2014, the state of Michigan authorized the city of Flint to switch their water supply from Lake Huron and the Detroit River to the Flint River in an effort to save money after a 2011 audit by the state projected a $25 million deficit in the city's finances. Shortly after, residents started reporting brown water coming from their faucets. Water from the Flint River is highly corrosive and was eroding iron from the water mains, turning it brown. Yet, the worst hid unseen. Over half of the pipes in Flint are made of lead, a naturally occurring but highly toxic metal when consumed. According to a 2015 class action lawsuit against the state of Michigan, the water from the Flint River was not being treated with an anti-corrosive agent, thus allowing lead to contaminate the water supply. In June of 2015, the Environmental Protection Agency released a memo which reported dangerous levels of lead in 4 Flint homes, some as high as 13,200 parts per billion. The EPA safety limit for lead measurements is 15. As a result, between 6,000 and 12,000 children were exposed to high levels of lead, putting them at risk of mental and physical disability. 12 people died as a result of a Legionnaire's outbreak caused by bacterial contamination of the Flint River waters.
My name is Claressa Shields, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, undisputed middleweight world champion, and I'm a boxer, born and raised in Flint, Michigan. The thing is, so put your hands up. So if we right here and you just, let's say if you throw a right hand, boom. It's already gone.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Boom.
And then,
let's say if you don't throw it, so we in here and we fighting and you doing whatever you doing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you're saying.
You gotta be
You
slick.
just move that shit.
You gotta be slick.
You know what's crazy?
They be in
That
here
hurt, bro. That's nah, it's all good. All right, so can you kind of walk me through where we are right now? What is this location?
Okay, so we're in Flint at this gym is called Bedrock Gym, owned by Leon Lawson, and this is where I come here to train now.
Can you kind of walk me through this wall? Who is on it and what does this wall represent?
So I would say this wall is the Flint greats, but we have people on here who are not from Flint, they're just great. So we all know the great Muhammad Ali, who's the inspiration behind this whole picture, right? That is myself. I don't know why I have on red lipstick, but yeah, that's myself. And then that's Darian. He's actually my sparring partner. We grew up together boxing. First guy I ever sparred in my life. This is really just Michigan greats. Like Lil Leon is up and coming. Andre and Anthony, they're doing their things. They've been world champions. I'm an undisputed middleweight world champion, super middleweight world champion. I got all these different titles, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. And then,
Keep going, go ahead.
Then we have the great Muhammad Ali, who I believe inspired really all of us. I mean, the first time I've ever said I'm black and I'm pretty was when I heard Muhammad Ali say it. So from there, I was a young girl with a big nose, and I didn't think I was too pretty, but he made me tell myself I was pretty. So now I'm pretty now. So it all works out.
What's it like being from a place like this, Flint, Michigan?
I just growing up in Flint, I think it's kind of inspirational for me to be from Flint and everything I grew up and had to go through and everything that I've overcome and what I've accomplished so far. And I'm only 24. It's a great sense of pride, knowing that this city has been kind of counted out and everybody, you know, we're going through the water crisis, and we have the poverty and the murder rate and everything. They still somehow create people like myself. And growing up in Flint it's tough in itself. We all go through things, but I think the kids here in Flint have to go through a bit more. And I think that, you know, people have deaf and families and stuff like that, and they can get counseling. In Flint, they don't have any counseling for you. You know, it's more of like, okay, your brother just got murdered, deal with it. You know, your cousin just got murdered, deal with it. And people don't know how much that affects children, especially, I mean, growing up around here, and they just act like since it happens so often that it's okay when it's not okay. And those kids need attention, and they need help, and they need counseling to help them deal with that anger and that sadness and that depression, but they never get help, and they just kind of find a way to deal with it themselves with drinking, smoking, joining a gang, all that kind of stuff kind of leads from there. They just out there looking for love from somebody, and everybody don't find it. Like, I found it in boxing, thank God, you know, but some people find it in different places that lead them down the wrong road.
You said that people here go through a lot of the violence and stuff like that, but the Flint water crisis was like a huge national and even international story. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of talk about what it was like, or what the energy was like here in Flint while it was and still continues to go on?
When the water crisis first started, everybody thought it was a myth. And at first I just was like, is this real? Like, what's going on? And then finally, some tests got done on the water, and it was proven that lead was in the water and that it was affecting babies and kids and teenagers' minds. And 10 people had died from the water. And once that got out there, it became reality. And I think that for myself and for others, just trust issues. We were like, we don't trust the government. We don't trust whoever was supposed to fix this issue. And even though like they were giving us ways to deal with it, like, oh, we're going to give out cases of water, or, you know, you can still bathe with the water, it just came to be out that the information that was given to us wasn't completely true. Here we go. This is my hood.
Oh, we're in
right
your
here.
parts now.
This is where I grew up at. This is me.
So where are we headed to right now?
We're going to my best friend JASMINE house. She lives close to the projects. I forgot what her apartment is called. So my best friend JASMINE, we've been best friends since the 8th grade. Well, actually the 10th. I met her in 8th grade. Funny story, she tried to bully me. Yeah, 8th grade.
Really?
And I wasn't having that crap. And after that, we just was friends after that, but we became best friends 10th grade. After being in all our honors classes together and having a team up to do projects together, we just got really close and we became best friends.
JASMINE, can you kind of paint the picture for me of what your experience was like during this entire water crisis?
Yeah, so normally when I cook, you know, spaghetti or anything that I had to use water for, I could just go use the faucet whenever I like. But then once I found out that the water was bad, I had to, you know, get filters on my water. And then we started using bottled waters to, you know, cook because we couldn't use the sink water anymore. So it made it pretty hard because I constantly had to buy more and more water just to, you know, make a meal, just to brush my teeth. And right around the corner here, we got a water distribution. It happened every Thursday, but the line be like stretching around the corner at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and they don't even start passing the water out till 9. So you have to wait in line for hours just to get 2 cases of water. And if you got kids you got to take to school, or if you don't even have transportation, you just won't receive the help. So I definitely think that, you know, the water crisis definitely changed my way of living and made it harder.
It was also costing you more money because you had to buy bottled water every time you needed to cook or anything?
Yeah.
And stop charging for water bills. Why would you pay a water bill that you can't even use?
You got to pay $350 just to get your water turned on here.
And like if you don't pay the bill, you still got to, with the water crisis, they haven't said, oh, the water is bad, you don't have to pay your water bill. still have to pay a water bill.
And they'll cut it off if you don't.
So now not only do you not have clean water, you have no water at all now.
You still have to pay a water bill.
Still gotta pay your water bill. Yep.
My name is ZAHRA AHMAD, and I am the city beat reporter here at the Flint Journal. So my reporting is basically the recovery from the water crisis. So I came in when all of the media frenzy left, right? And it was more of the city picking up the pieces and moving forward from the water crisis. So in 2016, the city agreed, it was almost like a self-imposed deadline. We're gonna try to replace 6,000 lead service lines every single year. And they estimated that there were 18,000 lead service lines.
So that would be 3 years.
3 years, exactly.
The July 31st deadline was self-imposed, and then they didn't meet it.
Yes. We have a pretty hard time getting actual interviews with city officials,
So we don't know then when this will be resolved.
it's uncertain.
Got it. You said that you have a tough time getting interviews with local elected officials.
Sure.
Do you find that the sentiment has changed towards local media?
I wouldn't say local elected officials as much as just city administration. They could be portrayed negatively in the media. I can't speak for them, right? So this is just an assumption, like maybe they just feel wrong. And I've had talks with the spokesperson, and she just keeps saying there's just a distrust between administrators and the media, and even when it's cited, you know, for other media outlets that may have done something wrong, it's just kind of like an encompassing, we just don't talk to you kind of thing, which is unfortunate, but you can only do so much.
Sure. It just seems ridiculous to me that like something so small that you're so used to just walking to the kitchen or the bathroom, just turning the faucet on, that's something that you can't do anymore. So can you show me what the situation is like?
So on my sink, I have a filter because we're not able to drink the water from the faucet alone without a filter on there. And then under my cabinet, somewhere down in here, I have more filters to, you know, put in. So if this filter go bad, to switch it out.
Mm-hmm. Where do you buy the filters from?
My church that I go to actually give them out.
Oh, okay.
So when they giving them out, I make sure I grab me one or two.
And how do you use it? Is it you
So you just turn the water on and you can flip the switch and
now the water's being filtered?
yes.
Damn. And do you use you said you use a lot of bottled water. Where do you keep that?
So normally after going grocery shopping, I'll have like a stack of waters right here of bottled water. I'm down to my last case of water right now. So obviously pretty soon I'll have to go to the grocery store and get, you know, more cases of water just to cook.
And do you keep a case in the bathroom as well to brush your teeth and stuff, or do you bring a bottle, or how does that work?
Well, both, because I also have a filter in my shower.
Well, you have
know,
a filter
constantly.
on the shower head?
Yeah.
So that wow, I didn't even know they made those.
Yeah, they do. I didn't know they made them either until I started buying them.
Okay. But basically every faucet needs a filter.
Yes.
Shit. This sucks. Could you see this water crisis happening in somewhere like Grand Rapids or, I don't know, Lansing?
No, I don't see it happening in no other cities here in Michigan. I just feel like Flint is a poverty city and the gun violence is terrible, so it's a city that no one really cares about. So it's like whatever happens, happened. So no one really actually cares what happened to the people in Finland.
What do you find, and I don't know what your relationship is like with like the residents of Flint, but just on a larger scale, what do you think is the sentiment of residents of Flint towards the administration now?
It's difficult because you can't speak on behalf of everybody, so I'm only going to go off of who I've interviewed and who I've talked to. The people of Flint are extremely resilient, and that resilience was proven far before the water crisis. It was when the automobile industry basically abandoned its birth city, right, and left all these people to wonder, you know, how am I gonna bring home a paycheck, how am I gonna take care of my family? But a lot of people are still here, and while the population is dwindling, we see lower numbers of people living here every year, the people that have stayed here either don't have a choice or truly believe that this is their home and it's going to make a comeback.
If the government told you today, hey, the water is safe to drink, would you believe it?
No. They would have to drink it first. Every government official who's telling me that the water is safe. and they would have to drink it consistently, not just once. Because they said it was safe the first time before we had the people from the college test it.
Do you feel like they lost your trust?
Definitely.
A lot of people trust here in Flint.
In terms of how they feel towards the current administration, like I said, I can't speak upon everybody, but one thing that we did learn from the water crisis is that there is a severe lack in transparency of government on all levels, whether it was federal, state, or local level, right? There was something going on with the water for almost 2 years. No one said anything, even though the cases of Legionnaires nearly doubled, right? Essentially, they wanted change, right? They wanted a more transparent government. They wanted to understand what's going on with their public water system. I don't think that that change has been made. I think people still feel like they're not getting answers from the government. I don't think that they feel like the government goes out of its way to communicate what's going on within their city. Like I said, they don't even know how many lead service lines are really being replaced right now, so.
At large, the people of Flint don't trust their elected officials, and their elected officials don't trust the media. There seems to be a lack of urgency on getting this mess fixed, so I went straight to the source for the answer.
I am Karen Weaver, and I'm mayor of the city of Flint.
Got it. And are you from Flint, born and raised?
You know what? I was born and raised in Flint. I am certainly from Flint.
What is the state of Flint right now? Is Flint still in crisis, or is Flint in recovery, or where do you guys stand?
You know what? We say that we are moving here in Flint. We say we're moving from crisis to recovery. But, you know, we've made a lot of progress in the city of Flint, but we're not out of the woods in the city of Flint, and that's what we want people to know. I think there's confusion just because they hear that we're still on bottled and filtered water. And so how has progress been made if you're still on bottled and filtered water? And my answer to that is, you know, we're changing the lead service lines. That's been one of the goals, is to get the lead out of Flint and these galvanized pipes out of the city of Flint. And we're not quite there. We should be finishing up with that this year.
Now, when you say that you guys have made a bunch of progress or have begun making progress, is there any substantial thing that has changed? Like X% of pipes have been
Well, like I said,
replaced,
we're
or-
almost done. We only have about 3,000 pipes left to look at. We had 28,000 when this started. And we've done this lead service line replacement faster than any place else in the country that has been changing pipes. So that's a lot of progress. The water is testing better. We're excited about where we are with that. But we're not done. We're not done. And that's the issue. And then we have another challenge, because you may still find that we have some homes that are testing for lead.
You said people have been impacted differently, right? Some
Yes.
may have lost a life, or some may have lost a loved one. I'm curious if you were impacted at all, and if so, in
Well,
what way?
certainly. I mean, because there's the issue of trust. And I remember when I heard the switch was going to take place, I said, I'm not going to drink that water. I mean, who wants to drink the water from the Flint River? It just didn't make sense to me. And so I started drinking bottled water. But I remember, I knew something was wrong with the water, and I remember getting that call. And so, you know, we've been told at the federal level by EPA that, you know, you can go ahead and drink the water from the tap. I'm not doing that. I don't believe that. And there are reasons that I don't. Some is because I know we haven't removed all of the lead service lines yet. Like I said, we still have 3,000 left to look at. And until we have completed that process, I would never tell anybody to drink that. I still have that fear and that concern. And it's not worth it to me to take that chance.
On a human level, though, it sounds kind of crazy to me that you, as the mayor of Flint, wouldn't drink the water.
Right. I'm telling residents not to. I'm telling them not to. We have not removed all of the lines. So why would I say drink the water? We haven't had our medical community say, you know, like I said, once we're done removing the lines, we want our medical community to say, and I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what the time frame they will give us. I don't know if they'll say we want to see stable results for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, but I'm going to take my lead from the medical community because, like I said, public health should have been the priority, and it wasn't. And that's how we ended up with a water crisis, because public health was not the priority, profit was.
What's your circumstance now? Do you still have filters on your water?
I sure do.
Do you have filters on your shower?
I sure do.
Is there a filter on every faucet in your home?
Not on every faucet in my home, no. in my kitchen, where I, cook and do those kinds of things, and on my shower.
Do you cook with bottled water or do you cook with filtered faucet water?
I've done both.
But you will not cook with the water?
From the tap? No.
That's crazy to me. It's been over 5 years since the water crisis started. The large water bottle donations have stopped, and the national media has moved on, but mismanagement by state and city officials continues. 2 million gallons of raw sewage spilled into the Flint River in August. The EPA, the regulatory agency in charge of protecting our clean air and water sources, is limiting the use of science for enacting new policies in the future, and a study has linked racism with the lack of enforcement of the Safe Drinking Water Act, a bill passed in 1974 to protect public drinking water across the United States. This has all happened before. It happened to the Standing Rock Sioux tribe when they fought the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline. It happened to Flint. And now it's happening again to Newark, New Jersey, where water has tested above safe levels of lead for years, and the city's response is putting its residents in imminent danger. The question remains, who is left to keep the city honest? Do you trust the Flint government now? Will you ever trust them again?
I just know I trust my mayor, Karen Weaver, and that's it. I mean, as far as in the upper higher people who made those changes, I don't think so. It's going to take some time. And how can you trust any government when the water crisis has been going on for, I don't know, has it been 6, 7 years? Is it 5? It's been a very long time for this water crisis, and it should have been over with already. What's going on? And I think this is something that should be urgent. We are a city in America. We're not a third world country. This is the United States of America, and we're a city in Michigan, in the United States, and we don't have clean water still.
Jasmine, what would they have to do to earn your trust back?
I don't think they actually could earn my trust back, to be honest. Once you lose somebody's trust, it's gone.
So there's nothing they can do that would make you feel confident in them anymore?
No.
What does justice look like for you guys? What would justice be?
Again, just them apologizing for what's been going on. And I also feel like they should offer extra help for the inconvenience of all the people in the city of Flint. Because a lot of people, outside of the water, a lot of people are, in poverty, they're hurting, they can't afford certain things. So that's why, the gun violence, as Claressa was saying, is so high, because people are killing each other just to make a meal for their family, or, just to make ends meet. I just feel like the government owe the city of Flint.
We spoke to a resident who said something that you said earlier, that there's almost nothing that the government in Flint can do to earn her trust back. Mm-hmm. When you hear statements like that, it makes you feel what?
It's sad. It's sad, but it's understandable. We've been through a lot here in the city of Flint. And some people will never trust. You can go back to what happened with the Tuskegee studies, and you have people that will never trust again. Because that was, when you've been lied to and let down by government, it's scary.